Good evening, everybody, and blessed Sunday. I'm feeling called to come and share my journey with you guys in hopes that some of you will find an understanding of where I've come from, what I've done in my life. I'm just going to shift that light setting a little bit. That way it's not as trying to figure out why my screen is so pixelated, but I guess it's the camera that I'm using is not the greatest, but we'll make it do for now. Hopefully you can hear me. Yes, I have my microphone. Yesterday's recording wasn't the greatest with all the feedback in the background, but I shared it anyways. So my name is Naveen, and um, all my friends call me Nev growing up and my family. So I just figured, you know what, you guys are all like family and friends to me, and I will just continue with, my name is Nev. It's easier for people to pronounce. Now it's Nev, not Nav, as a lot have assumed it to be. I guess it's the way that they hear it coming out of my mouth, which is my bad because I should be saying my name properly. But my name is Naveen. I am of Egyptian descent. I am Canadian born first generation. My background is Egyptian. My parents both were born in Egypt and they came to Canada before I was born with my older brother when he was two. And we've been living a great life, an unknowing life, as the best as we can. And we sometimes sit and reminisce about the things that we've done growing up and the places we've lived and, things that I can't even dare to remember. But it's fun to be able to share those memories and um, just to, live through our memories. But now, seeing as how our world is changing, my world changed a little bit more for me. So as I grew up, we lived in the Rexdale area, and I went to St. Maurice. That was my first school. And I remember walking through the hallways, and I was just being registered for kindergarten, or it was my first day of kindergarten or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I remember back then we learned French and Italian, and I loved learning both. I remember sitting in the circle with a pear in my hand and being able to say pear in Italian. I don't remember it now, but that's the vision that I get of, seeing. And my Italian speaking teacher had blonde curly hair, and that's as much of that memory as I can remember. But I remember when I was walking through the hallways. Now, this is how long ago it was when things like this happened, where you'd walk through the hallways you got in trouble by the teacher and you were sent to the principal's office, and the principal had a ruler, and there was a student in there and he was hitting the student's hand with the ruler smack in the middle. I was like, I don't want to be in trouble. That was the first thought that I had when I was walking through school. What a terrifying thought to have, walking through as a brand new student to a school that, but that was the time back then. Things thankfully have changed where you can't get reprimanded physically in school. But growing up there it was good. It was nice to see, nice to learn. We've had lots of friends, and then we moved to the John Garland area for a year, maybe a year and a half, and then my younger brother was born, and then we moved to Mississauga, and from Mississauga, and then I branched out when I got older, and you know had several different places in Brampton where I resided, and back and forth between mom's house and my house. When things weren't going right in my world, I would move back home. And at the age of 28, I had my firstborn. And sorry, at the age of 29, I had my firstborn. And he was such a blessing to me. Still is a blessing, and just Our roller coaster ride is just getting started, and I hate roller coaster rides. And then flash forward, met the man of my dreams, and then we had a daughter together. Very, very quick within the first year of dating. So I was like, okay. But at that point, I was 35, 34, 35 years old. So um, big age gap between my son and my daughter. And it was during the time that I was pregnant with her in 2015, before she was born, that I started looking at the world in a different light. Like when I was pregnant with my son, I didn't know any better. I was 29 years old, 28 years old, 29 when I pushed him out. And I just, I never thought to, want healthier options for him, because that wasn't the world that I was living in at that time. That world that I was living in at that time was full of uncertainty. There was a lot of depression, anger, um, sadness, all the negative things, just all the negative things were coming down. And my son was like the light at the end of the tunnel. He was the joy that brought love into my life. And um the the reason that I was involved in and I stayed there was the relationship I was in at that time with Denzel's father. He had two daughters of his own, and they needed support. Their mother wasn't around, and they needed guidance, they needed support, they needed somebody to look after them, they needed somebody to watch over them and protect them. So going forward, it was at the age of 4, Denzel at the age of 4, when no, sorry, at the age of 2, when just I kind of split between his father and decided that I need to do things on my own. There's got to be a better a better future for myself and for my son. It wasn't what staying with him was not an option. Let's just put it that way. Staying with him was not an option. And at that point I was done with him and his daughters. His daughters were grown. They didn't need me anymore, clearly, because things were starting to go missing from my garments and my jewelry drawers. And so I was like, you know what, enough is enough. Out you go, all 3 of you guys. um and then so flash forward now. I didn't, as I said, I never bothered to seek out anything beneficial because I didn't know any better back then. Pregnant with my daughter, I wanted the best for her, but to incorporate something even better so that my son can also heal. So I started looking around. I was on sick leave from work. I had a tear in my knee, and and then stress from work. The doctor just said, no more, you're off. So I was on sick leave, home, kind of doing my own thing and trying to research at the same time. And researching, I did. I was looking for, one, how to replace an income while on maternity leave. And it's funny because it was a thread on Facebook on one of these parenting sites that I noticed that this was on there. So I was like, okay, let's take a look. And so I was going through and I saw, companies like what was it? I know Arbonne was there because I had a meeting with a couple of ladies that came to my house, one with a newborn as well, and talking to me about their business opportunity and all that stuff. But it was just not what I did not want to have to pay a whole heap of money to invest in a company that I had to work my ass off, excuse my language, that I had to work my butt off so that I can bring in some income. At that time, I didn't understand what residual income meant. So, but also I wasn't passionate about the products. They didn't reside with me. So I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere. And I left. I used to work in sales. I worked at the Bay for 8 years. And as much as I loved the atmosphere and working with the people there. I hated selling to people. I hated having to sell things. I also worked for a bank, financial institution, and having to upsell the insurance on the credit card. And I said, no, I don't like doing that. This, there's only so much sales. And so I also left that job too. And so I found myself in this position where I'm like trying to find something, but I don't want to sell anything to anybody. Then I came across, I'm trying to remember the other brand. I know that their huge thing was the wrap. And just for some reason, my mind has completely blocked out the name, which is a good thing. But I tried it and I had an adverse reaction to the wrap. So I was like, I can't sell something that I can't use anyways. So I let that whole thought go. And then I came across a different thread that was talking about essential oils and the benefits. And I was like, oh, what are essential oils? That's something new. I've never heard of that before. And I started looking into it a little bit more. And I remember Dr. Josh Axe holding a workshop, and I signed up for it. And I was sitting there and listening to the workshop the day that it was on, and he spoke about the benefits of essential oils and how essential oils healed his mom from cancer. And I was like, oh, wow, really? This is amazing. And then he shared some recipes about how you can make your own deodorant and your own face cream and your own shampoos and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay. So I paid the extra and I got all these recipes. But during that, I kept hearing young living, young living, young living. And I was like, okay, I don't know what young living is. Let's just leave it at that. And then I came across a company called Juice Plus. If you haven't ever heard of Juice Plus, so Juice Plus, it's probably backwards for you guys, but Juice Plus is basically fruits and vegetables and berries. This is their 3 blend that I just recently got back. So fruits, vegetables, and berries in a bottle. Okay, they're little capsules. I guess the lighting is not the greatest, but I'll show you the capsules. So this little capsule here contains, see, it's green. It contains broccoli, parsley, tomato, carrots, garlic, beets, spinach, cabbage, lemon peel, rice bran, and kale. And all that is certified organic. So they have designated farms. It has its NPN number at the bottom there. Let me see if I could show you the NPN number. There it is. That little, so that's their natural product number that they have at the bottom. So this is a natural product. It is, this is the first product that I invested in. So it wasn't this, it was the business opportunity. The business opportunity was $50 for the year to invest. And then I bought my own thing. So my whole thing with that was I saw another thread on Facebook about somebody offering samples, or are you tired of your child being sick and tired? And I was like, yes, that was my son. And I was still pregnant with my daughter. So I haven't had an opportunity to see anything by her, but that was how I got started with that. It was a thread. And then I listened to the whole thing and I was inspired and it resonated because I was sick and tired of my son having to go to the hospital for high fevers, having to take the I can't remember the name of the medication for chest infections. It was ongoing chest infections. Every 4 months or so he'd develop another chest infection. I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous. By accident, that's it. He hated that stuff. It was like so sandy and disgusting. Anyways, so I was like, okay, yes, I would love a sample. So this person sent me a sample of gummies in a small little packet. It had 4 little gummies of just the red and the green. So the gummies, I got my son to try the fruits and he liked them. But when I got him to try the vegetable gummy, he's like, ugh. He couldn't even, he spit it out. He's like, I'm not trying this. So then I spoke to the lady and I said, okay, he doesn't like them. what other things do you guys offer? He liked the red, but he doesn't like the green. And she's like, yeah, well, the green is because it's all the greeny vegetables and all that stuff, and has an odd taste to it until your taste buds change to it. So she's like, squish the red and the green together and have him try it that way. So I said, okay, let's try that way. So he tried it and he liked it. So I was like, okay, great. I said, out of curiosity, what's the business opportunity like? And so she explained it was $50 to sign up as a distributor, and this and that and the other. I was like, okay, great. So how do I sign up? And she's like, actually, I think it's probably best for you to become a customer first before you invest in the business to see, what comes out of it. And that to me deterred me, because I was like, who are you to tell me no? I was like, well, okay, if you're gonna tell me no, I'm gonna find somebody else. That's what my mind already said. My ego's like that. Is if you're gonna tell me no, I'm gonna find a different way of getting in there. So because it's like something good, you're hiding the gold from me. So I came across a different individual. Thank you, Lisa. Who held another call, and I listened in on the call. And after the call, I texted her and I said, how do I sign up for the business opportunity? And she accepted me right away. And I was grateful for her. And it's been a blessing for me and my family since I became an independent distributor with them back in 2016. So 2015, I signed up in November with Juice Plus. And then I had to save a little bit of money, and thankfully they have a payment plan. So they do ship you out 4 months worth of product, but they will bill you in 4 monthly cycles. One is to help reduce the risk of, over packaging for garbage that has to be out there in this world that we're trying to reduce all that stuff for. So that was one thing. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. And so I said, okay, fine, because it's a payment plan, I'm going to deal with that. So I ordered it. This was what I ordered, just these two. And I was on them for the 4 months. They gave me all the benefits of the fruits have apple, peach, cranberry, orange, mango, lemon peel, acerola, cherry, pineapple, prune, dates, and beets. Okay, so it's filled with a whole bunch of good stuff. Now, I would normally not eat these on a daily basis, like the actual vegetables, like broccoli. Who eats broccoli on a daily basis? Who eats kale or spinach on or cabbage on a daily basis? I don't know anybody that does. So I was like, all right, it's in a capsule. I will take it daily. And I seen a drastic change in my health and in my daughter's when she was born. She was a healthy baby. She came out weighing more than her brother did when I had him. I noticed as she got older and saw her taste buds, she craved a lot of fruits and vegetables and still does. My son, we had a hard time before he was on the gummies. Um, we had a hard time with him because he always craved junk foods, because that was what I ate when I was pregnant with him. So be careful, women that are pregnant. Change your eating habits. If you find yourself eating more junk foods, your child will want junk foods when they are out, and it's not healthy for them. So do yourself a favor. I'm telling you what I went through. If you could change it, go for it. Natural whole foods are better for the child while they're in utero. Besides all the chemicals that you find in the umbilical cord that is being exchanged between mother and child. So if you're a smoker, that's not good. I don't judge, but that's not good. Um, anyways, back to my story. So I got involved with Juice Plus and I loved them. And then I met my friend Lourdes through we were talking about sorry, she offered samples and I was like, sure. I've heard of essential oils through Dr. Josh Axe, but here's an opportunity to try it out. So I was like, all right. So I tried out these samples when I messaged her, and she sent me 3 little samples. It was Copaiba, peppermint, and Panaway. And Copaiba and Panaway were the ones that just got me going because of the knee pain that I was experiencing. And it subsided, and I was like, oh, this is amazing stuff. But then I forgot all about it because why? I was involved with this. And this is what I was now like. I was so in love with these. And I was like, every household, every parent has to have these. Every child needs to get these in their bodies. And just keep going. Mind you, Sheila wasn't born yet. Okay. So I keep bouncing back and forth. I shouldn't do that. So I held a wine and wellness, and I met Lourdes in person, and she ended up ordering gummies for her daughters because her youngest was very picky, just like my oldest. And I gave her a sample to try them out, and they loved them. So she placed an order, and then I found out from her that in order to order a kit from Young Living, I thought, hey, this is great if they have an option to do um uh, sorry, if they have an option to do like the installments like like Juice Plus does, then I would be absolutely loving that. Unfortunately, they don't do that. So I had to save up some money. I did accidentally, and I'll tell you why accidentally. I was looking up Young Living. I did join Young Living eventually on my own. I had gone onto their website because of seeing what all these different companies, all these MLM companies that are out there and how they approach distributors with just, that hunger, wanting to sign them up underneath them. I was like, okay, well, I want to avoid that. Although I don't think I would have received that from Lourdes or anybody else from the Young Living, because I've met a lot of people from Young Living and it's a different culture completely. But I didn't want any of the harassment that was involved. And I'm sure that some of you guys that have looked into some of these companies know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I typed in youngliving.com and I clicked on the Canadian flag and it took me to become a member. So I was like, all right, let's just click and see what happens. You can't break the computer. So I clicked on, what I was waiting for with every click that I was and putting in my information without selecting anything to purchase. I was waiting for that. Okay, so to become a member, you need to pay so and so and so dollars. But I didn't. When I clicked that final click, which I was waiting for that. Okay, so now you have to pay. I got congratulations. You are now a distributor with, or sorry, it wasn't that. It was congratulations. You are now a wholesale member with Young Living. And I was like, what? What did I do? Everything happens for a reason. There's always a blessing. The universe has your back. And I tell you this because I'm like living in awe right now because of my path that I've taken. So I joined this natural company and I started flooding my body with nutrition. Okay. Flooding my body with nutrition. Even their shakes are amazing. They're vegan and they're nutritious. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can. Let's see how it goes with the lights off. How about that? Oh, is that better? Not really. So let's just turn it back on. Okay, so the complete, it comes in chocolate and vanilla, but the vanilla tastes like birthday cake. The chocolate tastes so damn good. Dutch chocolate is so good. This is vegan and it's very healthy. It contains 12.6 grams of protein, 8 grams fiber, and 0.05 grams of fat. It's all on the label there. Okay, if you want info, I can give you info. Anyways, I started back on this stuff recently, and I'll tell you that it's because I lost track of myself. Okay. Being at home and all this stuff that we're going through lately, I felt a drainage, and I heard my guides telling me that I need to get back onto it and get back on track because this was what started it all. So now I'm on my Juice Plus, and I'm drinking the shakes after my daughter's born, and I'm absolutely loving it. And um, I just noticed that, her brain development, her milestones, she was just like nailing everything before its time. Like her brain was just so active and so alive. And we did not introduce any form of sugar, refined sugar, chocolates. Like the first time that she had anything that was sweet was her first birthday with her her smash cake, and she didn't even eat it. She went like this and tasted it, and she's like blah, blah, blah. She just was playing with it like as if it was something to play with. I absolutely love that. So that was my journey with Juice Plus, is to start putting more nutritious stuff in my body. That started a detox in my body. Okay. Let's just start with that. So then they introduced these vegan omegas, because when I was 18, I could not, I was allergic to fish. These are the omegas. It's a vegan, it comes from plants. It's a plant-based omega. It's got some great benefits when you compare them to the fish oils, which I can't take. So I needed to find a different source. There was my source. Okay. So that came a couple of years after. I had the fortunate adventure of going to one of Juice Plus's conventions, thankfully. It was when I hit rank of virtual franchisee, and I got a $300 bonus. And I pleaded with God, and I said, God, if you help me with getting this rank, I am going to donate that $300 to the church beside me, because they were still trying to build their church and they were looking for donations every which way. And so I said, God, help me, and I will donate that 300. And that's exactly what I did. Then the same, when I got that check in the mail, or when I got that $300 deposited into my account, I pulled them out of the account, put them in the envelope for church, licked it, and said, "This is from me to God," and sent it. And now the church has resurrected its actual church, not just the. So I'm glad I was part of that part. Anyways, flash forward. Let's go back into my story with Young Living now. Young Living, I have been doing a lot of research and with Young Living. So I got the kit, and the kit comes with, like, the Copa Eba. They come with 11 different oils, and um with a diffuser. So I was excited about that. So eventually, when I saved up money and I ordered my first kit, these were some of the oils that I got. They're in a 5 ml bottle like this, but I got 11 different oils, and I was like, okay, let's try these out. Let's try some different things out. But I was so intrigued about Young Living that I wanted to do more research about Young Living. And so I was talking to Lourdes a lot, and I was, following YouTube pages. Who are some of the big people that Jen O'Sullivan, Dr. Ollie Whitaker, who else? Lindsay Elmore. Lindsay Elmore was just a powerhouse. She was a pharmacist, and then she turned into a farm assist. So she went from, pharmaceutical stuff to natural stuff, and helping she was helping people understand when they were, especially if they were wanting to use essential oils, how it contraindicates or how it can benefit or work with the pharmaceutical that a person was taking. So to wean them slowly off of the pharmaceuticals, because that is not a life to be living on pharmaceuticals. Let's get that out there. Pharmaceuticals have great powers when it comes to dealing with something right away, infections and all that stuff. But there are natural ways of also doing that. Let's say that right now. There are a lot of things that you could do naturally that the synthetic world cannot do. So there's a lot of things that they're trying. That's why they're always bashing, essential oils or herbs or supplements, because they're not there's no benefits for big pharma in there. And I had this conversation with somebody earlier, and I said, they're because they're giving naturopaths a bad rap, and homeopathy a bad rap, and all these natural nutritionists, all these people that deal in the natural sense, integrative medicine. Everybody in the pharmaceutical industry is giving that a bad rap. Why? Because they can't make money off of it. So let's just squash the competition and make them seem like, they're ridiculous. They don't know what they're doing. However, natural is not an alternative medicine. It is medicine. What we should be calling alternative medicine is the pharmaceutical stuff. Because God created this universe, and he created everything that we need on this planet. And so we have to start learning that and honoring that and using that. And if we can use it in conjunction with, whatever we need to do for the time, then let's do that. But back on track. Okay. So during my, I've been with Juice Plus for 5 years, going on 6 years now, actually. It'll be 6 years this year. No, yeah, it's the same. I joined Juice Plus November of 2015, and I joined Young Living March of 2016. So they're just shy of each other. But I started using the essential oil September of 2016 and have never looked back. I've been on them constantly. Juice Plus, I stopped using for a while, and now I'm back on them again because I know the difference that they make. So my journey has taken me from detoxing my body in a natural way and raising my vibrations. Okay. So now 2017, in the summertime, a good friend of mine, Angie, had this group that was just beautiful. It was empowering women, helping raise everybody's vibrations, and cheering each other on and all that stuff. And it was just wonderful. And I got involved in a challenge that she had. And from that challenge, it was a different challenge, but each challenge was to help strengthen who I was and help me grow. And the more I grew, the more I wanted to learn about new things that were out there. So the next thing I was finding myself doing was sitting on the floor, listening to Mind Valley meditations and feeling myself wibble wobble. And I was like, why? Like in deep meditation, I just felt myself either moving side to side, or it was more of like a swirl. And I was like, what is that? And then something led me to read about chakras. When your chakras are in aligned, they're swirling, because that's how the movement is. If you don't believe me, look it up. I don't Google anymore. I go to DuckDuckGo because I'm tired of people following me. So that's the swirling action. When all your chakras are in a line and you're connected to the 8th chakra, which is above your crown chakra, and you're connected to your root chakra and then into the earth, you start, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then my good friend Lourdes, who is my oily sister, guided me to this book called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein, Gabby Bernstein. If you don't know her, follow her. She's got great information, mind-blowing stuff. So I got the Audible, and that was the first book I got on Audible, and I was like listening to it. So now here's the summertime, and I want to just, go out there and start walking early in the morning to try and shed off some weight that I've gained 2 years after having my daughter, right? And weight gain is such a hard thing to go through, especially the older that you get. But I'm walking and I'm listening to Gabby Bernstein as to The Universe Has Your Back as I'm walking around. And I was like, all right, let's try this. So she's like, try this meditation about connecting with your spirit guides. And I was like, okay, spirit guides, and I can't remember what it was. And it was a short meditation for money. So I didn't close my eyes. I just kind of like zoned out of what I was doing. I was still walking and breathing and keeping flow because I needed to make sure that I was safe. And at the end, it was manifesting money. That was it. It was manifesting money. And I was like, okay, let's see. So I tried this. And by the time I got to the end of the street, before I had to turn and go to another street to head back home, there's a $5 bill on the floor in front of me. And I was like, thank you, spirit guides. Like you're trying to show me that you exist. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, let's test this spirit guide thing out again. I have been, I'm, I've been dying to get a Subaru. And I was like, okay, spirit guides, I'm driving to work one day. And I'm like, so Gabby Bernstein says in her book to choose your sign. What sign do you want the universe to give you? So I chose a hawk. I know it's crazy, but I said, I want to see a hawk. And I said, I want, and she's like, be very specific about your sign because the universe will give it to you. If you're vague, the universe will give you anything and you won't know if it's a sign or not. So I said, okay, all right, spirit guides, I'm driving to work. And I'm like, spirit guides, I want to know if getting a Subaru Ascent is my next car. Show me, if it is a yes, show me a hawk flying right in front of my face so I don't miss it. This is how amazing the spirit guides work in the universe, okay? I turn on the streets and I'm driving early to work and I'm driving down and there's a row of houses and then this big forest of trees. And as I'm driving, out comes this hawk flying and swoops right in front of my windshield. And I was like, oh my God. Like literally so close that I could see all the feathers on its belly as it swooped. And I was like, thank God I didn't hit it. And I just said, thank you, spirit guides, because they gave me my sign. And so I know my next car is a Subaru Ascent coming hopefully the end of this year. So I want to know how far this is in recording. It doesn't tell me the time. Well, let's keep going. That's not the end of my journey. That's just part of my journey. So now I've, manifested and I'm like, this is incredible. And then I was involved in another Facebook group where one of the, where the lady that started the group was talking about the universe has your back. Tut, the universe talks. Okay. And so I was like, oh, let's look this up. So I got the app and downloaded the app and I was getting all these daily messages from the universe and they were great. And it was by Mike Dooley and I was following him. If you don't know him, check him out. He's another great guy. So I started doing some different things. One of them was it was the end of the year and he was talking about his Love Your Life in 30 Days challenge that starts at the beginning of the new year so that you can have the first 30 days of the new year start off in such an impactful way and just keep exploding for you. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So doing these challenges, the first 30 days of, I believe it was at that point, 2018, January 2018. So the first thing that happens as I'm going through all of these different exercises that he guides you with, and there's like a video guide that he does, an audio, and then a journal that I bought so I can write everything into the journal. Because for me, my brain doesn't like I can't pick up just plain paper. And I tried 2 years after I tried, even when I paid into, I've tried and I couldn't do it. I had to have the physical journal with me so I could write it in so my brain could click in and be like, yes, this is what you're going to write in. So I'm like, okay. So anyways, I've done the 30-day challenge and I keep doing it. So it's like things like pay it forward, go in when you're going through the drive-through, pay for the next person and, or wave to somebody or smile to somebody, make them feel good about themselves. It's all about raising that vibration, raising the positive vibes and spreading it out there like a ripple, right? And the one drop in a pond of water and it just ripples out like crazy. And that's what we need to do. So I was like, all right, let's do this. So then shortly after that, I ended up, it's 2018. It was when was it? Was it in February, I believe? And the first kind of thing that I won, crazy manifesting thing, is I'm listening early in the morning to Roz and Mocha. And they were giving away either concerts to Justin Timberlake, tickets to Justin Timberlake's concert. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Or you can go to Ohio, someplace in Ohio. You can take a vacation to Ohio. So it was a texting thing. So I had texted my name and number, and, or not my name and number, just my number. And they had called me back and they're like, it was a private number. So I answered. I'm like, hello. And they're like, hi, Naveen. Or no, hi, who's this? And I'm like, it's Naveen Kuzam. And then they're like, okay, so this is the Roz and Mocha show. This is Mocha. And I was like, oh my God, what are you guys doing calling me? And I was like having this conversation with them. And they're like, so do you want a trip to Ohio, or do you want to go to the JT concert? I'm like, no, man, I'd want to go to the JT concert. And they're like, so why not Ohio? I was like, I've been there. It's very boring. So I won a trip to the Roz and Mocha, the concert. And I was like, this is mind blowing. Before that, I wanted to see the Black Panther movie. Everybody's been talking about it and going crazy. And I was like, I want to see this movie. I want to see all the hype about this. And that was the first thing. I won tickets. Somebody had emailed me from the Roz and Mocha show and said, you won a set of tickets to their VIP showing. And I was like, what? So we got babysitters for the night. And me and my partner, we went down he met me down there. I met him at the location, and we had our date night that night. That was dinner. We ordered dinner downtown and at the movie theater there, and sat down and we watched the whole experience. It was just an awesome experience. So that was the first thing I won from Roz Mocha. The second thing was the JT tickets, which I took my now sister-in-law, and it was an amazing experience to be there with her. And then after that, come May, when they were doing Cinco de Mayo, I won tickets to Xcaret, Mexico. And I was like, what? So we had to set a date. We set the date. We ended up paying extra to have our kids come with us, because I don't like going on vacation unless my children are there. Now, when they get a little bit older and I am able to go and enjoy myself without them, then it's a different story. But we ended up paying extra to take them down there, and it was the best experience ever. Like, we've never been to a 5-star resort, and this resort was just beautiful. It had 7 different theme parks joined to it, so you can jump on a bus, and the bus will take you directly there and bring you right back to the hotel. It was just an amazing experience. If we could go back there, we will. So that was 2018. That was just an amazing year by far. Like, everything just raising vibrations, raising vibrations, raising vibrations. Okay. Then 2019 rolls around, not the greatest of years, but still good. I'm still using my oils. I wasn't on my capsules as much. I was kind of spreading them thin so that I can save how much I was taking. And then I was doing workshops and learning about crystals and how crystals can benefit your life, and started wearing crazy mad crystals. My collection has grown. I've been making them for people and making my own, but like, I feel like Wonder Woman, but not with the metal. But you can see all the different, like, this is tiger's eye. I absolutely love this tiger's eye. So much so that I love making my own. Like, this was one of the earlier ones. This is moonstone and fire agate. And it's just all the different things that crystals can do. I wear them around my neck. This is a Rafiki that a friend made me off of Instagram. I caught her on Instagram. And she made me this Rafiki. I'm supposed to wear it on my bracelet, on my wrist, but I decided I like it better as a little choker type necklace. This is a quartz crystal. And then I have these amethyst points. And I have this that I got on my first year at a school I was working at, part of a Kris Kringle exchange. This is bloodstone and helps ward away negativity. And then this year I got, or just this past year, I can't remember if it's December or November or January, but I got this organite. It's an organite pendant that helps to block EMF. So, like I said, I've been learning about the amazingness that crystals can do. So, here's an example. Let's go to the amethyst. First thing in the crystal Bible, or fire agate. Okay, one of the properties of these beads on my bracelet, the very first one that I showed you. Okay, it says fire agate has a deep connection to the earth, and its energy is calming, bringing security and safety. With strong grounding powers, it supports during difficult times. Fire agate has a strong protective function, especially against ill wishing, building a protective shield around the body. It returns harm back to its source, so that the source understands the harm it is doing. So I tell you, when I there's a reason why I bought into this book, because I wanted to understand the powers of what I was wearing around me. And I use them in conjunction with the oils, because essential oils have frequency. Everybody is made up of energy, but essential oils raise frequencies. So my frequency is ever so high that I am able to connect with higher source, my spirit guides, the universe, my angels. I've tell you, on several occasions I've had blessings. I will have so much stuff that comes to me. So this is my universal path. I'm awakened. I'm spiritually motivated to guide others to find their spiritual path. We all have this path within us. It's just that the things that we're using on a daily basis, like toothpaste with fluoride in it, or none of my family members get fluoride rinse when we go to the dentist anymore, because it's enough that we're getting it in our residential water. So if you don't know what fluoride does for you, look it up. It's not good. So the aluminum in our deodorants, and cooking with aluminum, just get rid of it. Get parchment paper, cook with parchment paper. Get rid of your any pots and pans that are peeling. Get rid of those. Get yourself some good copper cookware, or stone cookware. There's a lot of stone cookware. We have a stone pan, and it's great. It's nonstick. It's an amazing thing to use. Anyhow, I'm guided by angels, and I know I'm guided by angels because I've had dimes drop on the floor from nowhere. Nobody else in the room with me. I had no change in my pockets. The first experience, I was in my kindergarten classroom helping a student, getting ready so that we could go outside for dismissal. And as she's getting her stuff and I'm helping her zip up, something goes bing on the floor behind me. I turn around to look, and it's a 10-cent dime, because, well, we don't have any pennies anymore. So pennies from heaven, dimes from heaven. I've found feathers right in front of my path as I'm walking, pure white feather. I've had symbols. When God wants to tell me I'm doing something right for him, I'll have a feather at the foot of my steps at my home. I had made a basket. Somebody had ferried me a beautiful turquoise basket. So I filled it up with soil, and I put some rocks that we collected from a beach and feathers, and I'll put like flowers and stuff in it. And that was like my offerings basket outside my house. If a little critter came by and wanted to eat something, by all means, you're welcome to it. I'd put bird seeds and stuff in there too. And it was funny because it was There was, I don't know if you've ever seen on my flow about the little notice I had put on about the flu shot. I was at the gym before they closed and I was exercising, and I see our government officials on the screen talking about how many flu shots they've secured for Ontario. And I was like, and then all of a sudden, it literally just felt like a drop into my head and through my third eye, because my third eye is wide open. I am hearing God, our creator, saying, warn everybody about the flu shot. Anybody that gets the flu shot, there's going to be massive deaths. That's all the message was. I kid you not. And I was like, so now my ego hits as I leave the gym, and I'm like, how am I supposed to share this? This is huge, God. And then I was like, you know what? No, who am I to not share God's message? This is meant for everybody. I'm sharing this. So I just typed it up one day and I started sharing it. I shared it on Instagram. I shared it on Facebook. And those friends of mine that are awake saw the message, responded right away, and asked me, like, how did this come to be? And like, where did this message come from? They wanted to know the source. And so I told them exactly what happened, because I am a truth seeker. I only seek out the truth. I will only share my truth with everybody else. I will not bend around and lie. That was in the past. That is cut off, no more. So I know that I am doing the right thing. So when I shared that on Instagram and Facebook and I posted it, I came home and there was a hawk's feather on my doorstep beside my basket. And I was like, whoa, I haven't seen any hawks in our area to see that drop. So I knew that that was an offering, or that wasn't an offering. That was God's way of saying you did well. And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you for acknowledging that I am trying to carry forward your truth and what your messages are. Then I have been exploring. So I explore and I have my own crystals. This is a beautiful crystal quartz that I keep beside me. Then I've been exploring, Then I've been exploring color mirrors. So I was talking to Moira Bush, sorry. Moira, if you don't know Moira Bush, look her up. Color mirrors. This is the first bottle that I had purchased from her, and I'm still going to be seeking out more information about color mirrors because I find it to be astounding. And then I bought the essences. This is essence of Archangel Gabriel. It's a beautiful blue color. You can't really see it because of the light on the side there, but that's Angel Gabriel. This is Yeshua. This is the essence of Christ, our ascended master. And this is the essence of Metatron. It was a little bit more reddish in color, and it's turned into this purplish violet color now in 2021. So it transcended on me. But it's such a beautiful, and you could see my son has been using them very much. I had to hide them because they're costly, but they're worth it. They're worth every penny. So I'm learning more about that. Then the next step I had in 2020. So I had a motor vehicle accident back in 2017, December. And I spent a couple of years going to physiotherapy for that. But there's this nagging feeling about my head. Like I couldn't go back to work. So I wasn't working in 2018 because I was on leave from work. My work would put me on leave because of the symptoms I was feeling. And so the first symptom I had, so the accident that was caused, it was the guy from the left side of me. He was in the far left lane, he saw his exit and he wanted to make it, but I could clearly see the car in front of him, and the space that he left in between that guy and me wasn't enough. So when he tried to merge, his back tire hit into my front end, and I swerved, I had to swerve back. So, cause I swerved into a lane, thank God nobody was there. There was a car behind, and I swerved back in, put my four ways on, and I pulled over. This same guy pulled over as well. We exchanged information. All that was good. So I didn't think I had a concussion. I was just very angry, upset, shaken, all the normal things that would come up when you get into a motor vehicle accident. Besides, I also had my daughter in the back seat. We were coming from an event, seeing a friend, and heading back home. So, exchange information on my way, on his way. I'm looking at the damage. I'm like, okay, that's kind of wonky. But the concussion started setting in. So I went into the hospital, not that day, not the next day, but the day after. Well, the next day I went to a clinic, walk-in clinic, and the doctor yelled at me. He's like, I don't have an x-ray machine to do anything for you here. I don't have anything to test you to see if you have a concussion. He goes, get somebody to drive you to the hospital. You're not supposed to be here. I was like, okay, stop yelling at me. I don't need this. So then I had my partner take me to the hospital while my mom watched my kids. And at the hospital, they just do their quick little follow the pen. Okay, yeah, okay. You have a mild concussion. Wrote me a prescription for a week off of work and gave me 2 different medications to take. Okay, fine. So I'm taking these 2 medications. I sent the information to work that I wasn't going to be at work for the week because of the motor vehicle accident, and this is what happens. Okay. So now I go see my doctor, we file a report, and she's like, okay. Um, but then I noticed that my eyes are super sensitive to lights after a couple of days while I'm off in that week. And I'm like, it's giving me huge migraines. And I'm like, I don't understand this. And I've been wearing my sunglasses everywhere because I found that helped. And my sunglasses were like those really dark tinted glasses. So I'm like, okay. So the next thing I know, it was Christmas time and I wanted to visit my class and just I had a little something for them to tell them I'm thinking of them and to see my partner and see how things are going with the ECE that had come in to cover me. And she was amazing. But when I walked into the classroom, even though the lights were dark, because of the noise level in there from all the kids, I started feeling a buzzing in my head and I was like, what is going on in here? I said, I'm sorry, I have to go out. I'm feeling very anxious. So I walked over to the library where it was quiet and things simmered down. And I was like, okay, so I came in to say Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys have a good holiday and a good 2 weeks off. And a lot of parents had brought in gifts for me. So I collected those and thanked the children for their gifts. And I went home because I just couldn't. Then I found out, okay, so it has to do something with auditory and with light because when those two happen, it feels like buzzing is in my head, like bees, a hive of bees are buzzing around. So I go to the doctor and I tell her about my symptoms. I said, I feel like there's bees buzzing in my head. So she writes a prescription for an naproxen, sends me on my way. Take one of those that night and I felt high as a kite and I was like, no, this is not what I need. Then I started getting dizzy spells. A couple months after, went back to her and I said, I'm starting to get dizzy spells, and just for your records, the naproxen wasn't working. So now I'm seeing my physio, but I'm also seeing a chiropractor at a different location who has a physiotherapist there as well. So I'm asking everybody, and my physiotherapist said, we need to do a concussion assessment on you, but we have to see if the insurance company will approve it because your benefits from work are done. So I said, okay, see what you could do. Nothing. So she's like, well, ask your chiropractor if they could do it because the chiropractors can do concussion assessments as well if they're trained. So I said, okay, fine. Go to my chiropractor, who's an amazing man. He's an amazing man. And I asked him, do you do concussion assessments? And he said, no, I don't. But he got rid of the migraines because he said it's all tight. Hit the muscle. He felt both sides of my face. He goes, your muscles are so tight in your face here. So he started massaging the muscles that were in my face and he immediately reduced the migraines that I was having. So that was a good thing. That was one thing. Then his physiotherapist had suggested that I go see an ENT, because I was telling her it's not vertigo, but it's dizziness like vertigo. But it's not vertigo. I've had vertigo and I've seen an ENT and I've never had vertigo again. So she said, okay, go see another ENT and see what they say. So I went back to my doctor and I told her, the medications that you gave me didn't help me. They made me feel high as a kite. I need a referral for an ENT and an optometrist. She's like, okay, explain the reason why. So I explained the reason why. So she gave me the referrals, sent me off on my merry way. The first person I got to see was the optometrist. Optometrist is doing his exam, and he's like, yes, you do have a concussion, because your like retina windows or whatever it's called are wide open and you have severe light sensitivity coming in. That's why you're getting that buzzing in your head. It's probably an auditory overload or a sensory overload to your brain, and that's why you're feeling that buzzing happening in your brain. And I was like, okay, thank you, somebody's, I'm getting somewhere with this. And then I go to the ENT, and because she put on a referral for vertigo, he's literally flipping me onto the bed for vertigo. So ENT got me nowhere, but the optometrist got me somewhere. But with that, I started putting on, like, I was taking my Juice Plus and I was drinking my Ningxia Red, and I noticed that my eyes were getting better, which was great. So the next time I went back to my optometrist, the retinas went closed. I'm still suffering from a concussion. It's not eye sensitivity anymore, but there's a lot of other things that are happening: confusion, dizziness, focus, concentration, all that stuff. If you've noticed in this video that I'm going from one place to another, even though I've kind of had everything laid out of how I was going to speak, that's the reason why behind it. I'm not cuckoo, I swear. But this was the whole reason of this video today, was to show you that if you I'm more sensitive about my body and more protective about my body, meaning that I will not let anybody just put anything into my body. I used to be that person that trusted the doctor, but the doctor's just another human being that is possibly guessing. From my experience, that was what was happening. She was guessing at what was causing it and what can help it. And the answer is not always pharmaceuticals. The answer is, let's find out the root cause. What is the seed of the problem, and find out how we can resolve that, not slap a band-aid on it, because that's our medical system now. Slap a band-aid on it, send them on their way. That's not how we deal with humans. We have to value human life. And so the reason why I'm sharing my experience is I'm hoping that it touches one of you guys out there that is watching this to understand what I went through. Yes, it's a long video, and I hope you made it to this point here, but I want you to understand that knowledge is power. If you seek out the knowledge, if you seek out the truth, if you ask God to show you the truth, God will show you the truth if your eyes are wide open. I am on a spiritual journey at this point. I've actually started even on a shamanic journey of a shamanic path. So I've had this drum made for me. It's a special drum, my special hand drum that I use for shamanic journeys. And I would love to guide you guys in a journey right now. And the journey would be, if you allow me to, is just a simple journey. You're going to meet your power animal. So what I would like you to do is find a comfortable position, lie down or sit still, but find an eye cover to cover your eyes so that you can block out all distractions, because I want you to focus. When I drum on this drum, because of the beat that comes out of it, the level that comes out, it brings your brain into a theta state, and that theta state will help you transcend. Allow it to go anywhere. If your ego tries to stop you, that's okay. Acknowledge your ego and just continue on with your journey. What I want you to do is this: as you're lying down, if you want to cover yourself with a blanket, cover yourself with a blanket. But what I'd like you to do is Imagine yourself in a place of nature, some place you've been before. In any, it could be anywhere in the world, some place that really resonates with you, whether it's, by a tree, by a lake, in sand, on a beach, um, anywhere in the world, soaring through the sky on, I don't know, whatever it is that resonates with you. My place is always against a tree or by a tree that's overlooking a lake. It's a location I found when we'd go visit in Orangeville, and it was just a beautiful place to go to. That's exactly where my mind takes me to every time I journey. So I would like you to find a place in nature, and your intention when you get to that place is to meet your power animal. And what you're going to do when you're just laying there, let your mind go, let it see what happens. So how you'll know you met your power animal is you'll have 3 encounters with that power animal. When I met my power animal, which is an eagle, it started off with eyes, in like I was literally staring at a set of eyes, and they were shifting. They went from hawk to owl to eagle. And then I found myself soaring behind the eagle. The eagle was in front of me, and I was literally in the sky soaring behind it. Like it was carrying me on the air that's behind it. And then the last vision I had was the eagle swooping down and grabbing a fish and taking off. Excuse me. So I'm going to be drumming for 5 minutes. What you're going to hear is this tone for approximately 5 minutes. When it's time to come back, I want you to retrace your steps back to your place in nature. When you hear, okay, and when it's time to come back and open your eyes, you're going to hear a faster beat. Okay. So I want you to try this. Get into your state. I'm going to start, and I'm going to put my timer on because I want this to be a very short journey for you. But I want you to be open to this and let the introduction of the journey come through. Okay. And we start. So remember, your intention is to ask your power animals to introduce themselves to you. It's time to come back. Say thank you to your power animal for introducing themselves and make your way back to your place in nature. Take a deep breath in and release it. Now, what I'd like you to do is get a piece of paper and a pen and write down everything that you saw. And that way you have something to go back and reference. Okay. If you are interested in learning more about shamanism or shamanic journeying, you can always contact myself or my mentor, Manpreet, and I can connect you with her. She's been teaching me a lot, enough that I can now, I did a workshop with her, and then I now have the ability to do shamanic healings on people. So if you're interested in having a shamanic healing, please reach out to me. I do them by donation at this time, or if you cannot afford to pay, that's fine. Even so, because everybody needs a healing somehow. So I'm open to helping others at this time virtually. And we are holding a shamanic circle this coming March 14th at 7 p.m. There is an event on Facebook that you can catch if you follow me on Facebook, Nev Kozman on Facebook. You'll see the event for March 14th at 7 p.m. That again is also by donation if you'd like to join us. It's also a free event, and we're open to any donations for our time and energy to hold that space for you. I want to thank you for enduring the time that we've been here together. I know it's been over an hour that I've been talking, but I want to show my appreciation to you and my gratitude for you to be here this long. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for your support, and kindly like and share with others that might be following a similar journey or need to understand how they could possibly find their way in this crazy world that we have. My name is Nev. Have yourself a blessed evening. Love to you all, and peace and guidance. Happy oiling.